I know. And this angel statue is originally built to commemorate the Danish sailors who lost their lives in World War I. Back in World War I, Denmark was neutral, but many of the sailors sailed on merchant ships on convoy, and many of those ships hit sea mine or attacked by submarines, and many sailors lost their life that way. On your right hand side now, or in the moment, you will see a little ship pier, and this ship pier is called America Pier. That will be on your right hand side in a short moment. So right now, if you look over to your right hand side, you can see the America Pier. And between the mid-1800 and the mid-1900, about 381,000 Danish people migrated by ship to the United States of America, hoping for a better life. And nowadays, 1.5 million American people have Danish ancestry. So if you know any Americans whose ancestors came from Denmark, that pier was most likely where they set off on their journey. A little fun fact about the Little Mermaid you saw. In the beginning of the 1900s, Carl, the owner of Carlsberg Brewery, one of the biggest breweries in Denmark, he was really a fan of Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid. And one day he went to see the Little Mermaid as a ballet in the Royal Ballet Theatre, and he really liked the lead actress Ellen Price, who played the Little Mermaid in the ballet. And Carl wanted to have the Little Mermaid statue modeled of her. So he contacted the Danish sculptor Eriksen and asked him to contact Ellen Price to ask her to pose for the Little Mermaid. And Ellen Price, being the fun lady she was, thought that was just a trick to see her without clothes on. So she only agreed to be the model for the face. And then Eriksen, the poor sculptor, has to use his own wife's body. And many of the arts and statues around the city that you may see today were donated by the Carlsberg Brewery. And because Carl, the owner back then, had a passion for art, and he wanted to decorate his city with art and help to transform the city into a more lovely place. On your left-hand side, you see the Swedish church, and this church was built for the Swedish sailors in the 19th century. Nowadays, Denmark and Sweden have a very close Scandinavian brotherhood relationship. There is a bridge called the Øresund Bridge linking Denmark and Sweden, so you can drive by car across the ocean from Copenhagen to Sweden. And that is a quite long bridge too. I think it's included a 4-kilometer underwater tunnel. And when they built this bridge between Denmark and Sweden, to build this underwater tunnel, they have to build an artificial land for the tunnel to go into the water. And next to the tunnel there is a little island that was natural. So just next to the one they have to artificially built. And this natural island is called the Salt Island in Danish. And guess what they named the artificial island they built next to the Salt Island? The Pepper Island, exactly. However, the Danish-Swedish relationship hasn't always been this friendly. Up to the beginning of the 19th century, the two countries have fought over 11 wars. And they're fighting because this piece of water between Denmark and Sweden, the Øresund region, and it's because of whoever controls this water controls the entrance to the Baltic Sea. So there's a lot of money to be made from charging customs, and they were fighting over between land, between territories as well. But it's good that now the two countries
statues.
has a very peaceful relationship.
Another one here, look.
Like in Greece.
The bear. Bear on there. There was a bear coming out of the building.
What bear?
Statue, man. Very peaceful life.
On your right hand side you can see a big blue building, a big grey building with blue windows, and on top of the building there is a blue flag. And this is the headquarters of AP Møller, a Danish shipping company. And it is one of the largest, biggest container shipping companies in the world. And once every 20 minutes there is a AP Møller container carrying a ship causing harbor somewhere in the world. And if you look at the flag, it is of a 7-pointed star. And if you look, ask the top level management what that means, they will tell you it means the 7 sea. And if you ask an employer what it means, an employee what it means, they will tell you it represents that they have to work 7 days a week. You can see on your right hand side 2 green pavilions, and they belong to the royals, and they were donated to Denmark by the Norwegian people in the early 1900s. And it is because back then Norway finally got its independence from Sweden peacefully, and Norway would need a new king to rule their kingdom. And they look around Europe and found a Danish prince who wasn't going to ascend to the Danish throne to be an eligible candidate. And this prince, Karl, he wanted to make sure that the Norwegian people would accept him before he accepted the role as their new king. So he wanted a referendum organized in Norway, and 80% of the Norwegian people voted for him. And the Norwegian people donated these 2 pavilions for him to sail off Copenhagen in style to become Håkon the 7th of Norway. And nowadays the Queen of Denmark, Margaret II, whenever she wants to sail around Denmark on her royal yacht during summer, the pavilion on the right, the one with the crown, is where she would wait to board her royal yacht. Copenhagen, the name in Danish is Copenhagen, and it stands for Merchants Harbor. And it is because originally Copenhagen was built as an industrial harbor. And you can see the 2 columns on your left hand side, and we'll run you through them. The gate, you have 2 Roman gods on top, Mercury and Neptune. One represents the god of sea, and one represents the god of trade. And this gate represents the name of Copenhagen. It was an industrial harbor, but nowadays it's decorated by art, and it has been transformed into a cultural harbor. And we will see more of that on our trip today.